Happy Sunday. See the lady behind me? That's Miss Tina. Miss Tina is my model for jewelry because I sell jewelry that $5 a piece. I think I've told y'all that. And when I do lives, then I go over there and change out her jewelry. So if you've ever caught a glimpse of her while I was filming and wondered, who's that person standing back there? That's just my model, Miss Tina. You do not know how many people have been scared when they've come in here, walking by, and all of a sudden see a 6 foot lady standing there. I guess and you don't expect that in a dining room. But if you can see this wall over here, it is wall to wall jewelry. And upstairs, my bedroom's wall to wall jewelry. So if you ever need any jewelry, I'm the lady to call. I do have a Judy's Paparazzi on Facebook. You can go on and look at stuff. But anyway, I just thought today that some of you might have got if I was moving around, you might have got a view of her and thought there was somebody standing behind me, but it's just my model for jewelry. Okay, today we're going to talk about books, not curriculum so much as books to supplement your curriculum. You're going to have to make that decision on your own what curriculum you want to use. Investigate, read Kathy Duffy. Um, Go to Mardell's and actually put your fingers on the different books and look at them. Go online, look at Christian books, Rainbow Resource, and Mardell's online too. And for math, there's different math sites, and you can go to Saxon Publishers, and actually they have a placement test you can use. I think Rainbow Resource also does the Saxon placement test. But we've pretty well covered the math that we're going to cover. So today I want to talk to you about how I supplement curriculums. Okay. Now, the I told y'all that I really, really liked the McRuffy reading, language arts, spelling. It's all combined in one thing for kindergarten and up through second grade. And so you can get those from McRuffy Publishers, and sometimes Rainbow Resource carries them. I don't remember seeing them on Christian books. But I don't just do the curriculum when it comes to reading because they need to learn to read different kinds of books, not just easy readers. So let's first off, we will start with just reading for reading. Okay, when you want to read outside the curriculum you're using, what might the child want to read? My stairs over here, the first 2 years Toby was reading, he would take his extra books he wanted for reading silently, except he never reads silently. He'd go sit on the stairs and read. He loves to read aloud. He comes from an acting family. His mother's a theater teacher. His two big brothers, one's in college majoring in theater, one has been to a fine arts center. They have been in numerous plays at different theaters, okay? And then his brother Nicky, right above him, has been in a couple of plays too. Matter of fact, he was in Newsies. Um, as kind of a heavy working for the publisher in his mother's play last year. And then he and Toby both were in Newsies downtown San Antonio at maybe Magic Theater. I'm not sure about that. There's so many theaters that start with an M. But anyway, so they're an acting family. They're very dramatic. And so reading silently has not been his big deal, except in the car. And in the car, he loves to he'll get in the back seat and read quietly. Like I told y'all, he'll read a chapter, um, a day, and he can read a book a week. Oh, he can read. Sometimes he can read a book a day if we're in the car for several hours. So he does lots of reading. Nikki never really cared too much for reading outside school except for one kind of book. So I will show you those in a minute. But I'm going to start with the lower books for reading. Now, remember I told y'all that my daughter and I, sold Usborne books for a while. And this is my first reading library. And it's an Usborne set, 50 books to guide your children through the first stages of reading. The first 22 are taken from Usborne's very first reading. This next 12 are taken from Usborne's first reading level 1, and 16 after that are Usborne's first reading level 2. And so here's every book that is in here, unless I've lost some, which is very likely. And then they come in this little box, and they're color coded. The very first ones were these green ones over here. And I'm just going to grab one. This one is Bad Jack Fox. It's book 4. And there's usually 2 books with the same number. So book 1, there'd be 2 book 1s, 2 book 2s, 2 book 3s. Okay. In these books, in the very back, they give you guidance for the parents, how to do these books with them. So what letters, that their sounds they're covering. It tells you some things like when's a good time to read, where should you read with them, and what to do when you get through. Okay, so when you start reading one of these books, it also has some instructions in front. How does this book work? Okay. And turn the page to start reading. Bad Jack Fox. Now, you see on this page, there's little writing and there's big writing. Little writing, big writing. This is designed for the parents to read with their child. So the parents start reading to get the story started with the little writing. And then the child, late kindergarten, first grade, will read the big writing. Now, by second grade, you can come back to these books and the child should be able to read both the parents and the kids reading. And it may surprise you that they will enjoy doing that on their own, because that shows them how much they grew in their reading abilities. And so, as you can see, very colorful. You can finish one of these in 10 minutes, okay? Be sure that you look at the pages and the pictures. They're important too, because you want to pay attention to the order of the book and what goes with it. Because when you get to the end of the book, then you have puzzles. Now, I wasn't saying anything because it blocks me off. Puzzle 1 is look at the pictures and read the sentence underneath it and tell whether it's true or false. So Jack Fox has a box. And you would know from the story if he had a box or if he didn't. True or false? Dan cannot get a cab. True or false? Dan is sad. Jack Fox is fed up. Okay, so true, false, or false, false, true, true, right? Now, don't worry. The answers are back here on page 29. Okay, so on this one, the puzzle 1 was false, false, true, true. So And then puzzle 2 answers are there, and puzzle 3. So puzzle 2 then, there is one wrong word in each sentence below the picture. What should it say? Dan is not as quack as Jack. I think you know what's not true there. The word that needs to be there is not quack. Dan is not as quack as Jack. Probably it's quick. Probably it's quick. Zip, he's off in his can. What does it look like he's off in? He's off in his car, right? So they're not really hard, but they're designed for kindergartners. And the answer was Dan is not as quick as Jack. Zip, he's off in his van, not car, his van. Okay. So once you've read the story, you'll know what that would be. And then puzzle 3 is you have quack quack, fizz fizz, quick Mick. And you pick out which one goes with which picture. And quick Mick goes with picture C. And fizz hiss goes with picture B. So they're easy little puzzles, but it's fun. It's mother, child, grandma, child, big sister, child, reading time together. And then the second time they do these books, when they're older and can read the parents' part too, then they can get to the puzzle and they'll want to answer it again and show you how smart they are. These guidance notes in the back are really good for someone who's not a school teacher and you feel intimidated about having to read with your child and help them with the sounds. It's real good reading for you to get started. So, we've got 50 books. And it's the more you buy at one time, the cheaper it is. So if you bought the green ones all at one time, it's going to be one price, the orange one price, the purple one price. Or you can buy this whole set, and it saves you quite a bit of money. That's why I bought the whole set, because I knew we would be homeschooling for several years, and I wanted enough books to keep me busy. To be honest with you, we have never done the purple books. I just have so much stuff that we just haven't done the purple ones yet. We've done the green ones. As you can tell, they've been used, right? But you may not get to all of them. You may just collect so many books that's just more than you need. But this year we're going to have a lot longer time for quiet time each day. So he may get to the purple ones this year, because even though he's in the chapter books, it sure will help his reading log to have a bunch of other books, you know. Here's one from the purples. I'd say it's still kindergarten, first grade. But they say that it does not hurt for experienced reader, even high schoolers, to go back and pick up easy books like this. They're fun. You know, all reading does not have to be a challenge. So if your child wants to go back and read something that's too easy, let them in their own time. Don't take up their class time with them, but let them read fun things that they can get through in a hurry if they want to. Okay, that's an Usborne set. Now, these are the ones when Toby would go to the stairs and read aloud. Hey, Jack. Hey, Jack, I would say that he's about second or third grade in real life. They don't really tell you that, but, and they're not numbered, so you can read them in any order you want to. And I have probably as many Hey Jacks as I have over here, and that I probably have 25 at least Hey Jack books. And he has a best friend named Billy. It's a girl. And I have that set of books too. And you can look here and see the writing. I'd say that's first or second grade. By third grade, Toby was reading the 13 chapter books, you know. And now, when Hey Jack begins, they've got a lot more than this. This lists all the Hey Jacks when you bought this, but they've got more than that. I have a lot more than that. They're Usborne and they're by Sally Rippon. Well, actually, Usborne carries Kane Miller books too, and this is a Kane Miller book. Yeah, but they're sold by Usborne Books. Okay, this one is Hey Jack, the Robot Blues. And when they start, they always give you a picture of Jack and how he's feeling that day. Each book is dealing with some problem a child's going to be going through. So, this is Jack. Today, Jack is in a wobbly mood. He feels funny in his tummy and wobbly in his legs. Funny in his tummy, wobbly in his legs, and he feels shy and nervous, and he's in a wobbly mood. So that sets the stage for this book. Jack has been invited to a party. It is a dress up party for a boy on Jack's soccer team. The boy's name is Jim, and he doesn't go to Jack's school. Jack won't know anyone at the party except for Jim, and that's why he's feeling wobbly. And it's also a costume party, and Jack makes his own costume. And when he gets there, everybody has a store bought costume, and he doesn't feel like he fits in. Um, Everybody's entranced by his homemade costume, though. But, you know, he's just feeling weird until like three people show up in the same store bought costume. And that kind of sets Jack apart in a good way, that he's different. And he doesn't play the games very good in his robot costume. He's kind of held in a position, you know, that's not fun. So he starts feeling bad that he's not winning any athletic contests. But when it came time for giving first place for the best costume, he wins that. And he becomes kind of special at the party. And he ended up having a good time. And each book has something new. Here he's meeting a new friend, which happens to be that little dog. And here, his best friend Billy was supposed to sing a special. He helps her get ready for it. And then the day she was supposed to perform, she got stage fright. And so he wanted to help her. So he runs out on the stage, grabs the mic, and starts singing. Once he starts singing, Billy starts singing too. And they get a lot of applause for their duet. So each book is really cool. The very first one I ever read, Toby and Nikki, I read it to them because they were fighting. Yeah. One of them had uh, built something with magnet blocks, and the other ones came in and destroyed it. And that one was so angry. So this, the one I read was about the cousins coming to visit and how they look up to Hey Jack so much. He just hates when they come because they destroy things, and they're wild kids. And then his parents tell him, look how much they appreciate you. Look how much they look up to you. They look forward to coming to your house. So they go up to Jack's room and they accidentally fall into his building and it destroys it. And they're like, oh, Jack's fixing to get really mad like he did last time we came to visit. Instead, Jack says, that's okay. You build them so that you can take them apart and build them again and maybe even do it better. So they start playing a game of destroying the building and then rebuilding it and then destroying the building and rebuilding it. And I read that book to my boys. And before I knew it, they were saying, well, let's go back and rebuild the building together. And they did. And they quit fighting, they quit crying. And so it taught them a lesson. I don't think they ever fought again over one of them accidentally destroying the other's building. Because my boys build all the time because Toby wants to be a builder when he grows up. That's why we adopt buildings to go watch them being built, like I told you I did when he was 6 years old. Okay, so these books, you can go to Usborne and order them. They may ask for a salesperson that you use, or they may let you just go ahead and order them. I can't remember, uh, but Usborne also has a really cool game called. I just went brain dead. Something about monsters, uh, and feed the monster, and it teaches phonics and in a real fun way. And Toby, even though he's way past phonics, uh, last 6 weeks of school, he said, "Can I play the monster game? I haven't played it in over a year." I said, "Sure." He spent a week playing that in his own time. Yeah, he had more fun. And also, I want to tell you something else about the Usborne books. Well, maybe I'll tell you when I get more to the teaching books. These are just the reading books. Okay. When it comes to reading in their own time, when they get older, Nikki really enjoyed the Bear Grylls books. And I mentioned them to you that there's like 20 of them in a set. And this is Bear Grylls. He is actually on a TV show in real life. But these books are fictionalized to talk about a child who's having to live in a certain area and survive. And Bear shows up and teaches them. Now, when we got further into science, Nikki knew so much about earthquakes, about volcanoes, about so many things in science that he had read in the Bear Grylls books. They really taught him a lot. And so you don't have to feel guilty that he's spending all of his time reading a fiction book because he is learning about ecosystems. This one is the Safari Challenge. So we'll tell you about the jungle. This is the Mountain Challenge. So what's it like going up in the mountains? What will you find up in the mountains? What kind of weather? The Earthquake Challenge. Now, let me see if it tells us. There's also the Blizzard Challenge, the Desert Challenge, the Jungle, the Sea, the River, the Earthquake, the Volcano, the Safari, the Cave, the Mountain. Now, there's way more than that. They must have added more after that book was published. Let's see what the mountain one did. It had the same ones. I bought two sets. The first set had 12 books in it. And then the second set, I think, had 7 in it. The Safari Challenge doesn't have the list in it at the front. So it may have been one of the first ones that came out in 2019. These are Kane Miller books also, so by Usborne. If you buy them singly, $4.99, but then you save money when you buy the 12-piece set or the 7-piece sets. Okay, and I'd say they're about third grade reading level, third, fourth grade. Nikki read them in fourth or fifth grade, and he read them all in one semester. So you can do those so that when you get to the studying earthquakes or volcanoes or blizzards, they're already going to know something just from those books. Toby did not like these books as much. He started them. The very first one he read, he said, "Best book I've ever read." Then he went to the second one and he never finished it. Where with the books he likes, he'll read one in a day if he has enough time in the car. And these are the ones I told you he really likes, where he gets sucked into the story. The kid is playing Minecraft on his computer and he gets sucked into another world of Minecraft. And Winter Morgan wrote this particular set. There's other sets at the library, And we have cleaned up Winter Morgan books at all the San Antonio library system because we would look him up and they'd tell us where they were and we would put a hold on them and they would send it to our library. Or if it was a library close to our house, we would just drive over there and get it before it got checked out because we usually started looking when we ran out. And so he's read all of the Winter Morgan set. Now, this one, his Awanas teacher found it online, and the San Antonio Library didn't have it, so she gave it to him for Christmas because she'd asked me what he liked. And I said, he loves the Winter Morgan. And there's another author, I don't remember the name, that he's read all of them San Antonio has. And they're not Minecraft, they're another game that you can play. And I ought to remember it because all the kids like it. But I don't remember what it's called. And they usually have 10 to 13 chapters. All right. So those are all the just reading books. All right. Now we're going to talk history. Remember, we are not talking history curriculums. You've got to determine for yourself what kind of curriculum you want. Now, here in Texas, we have what's called the Texas Educational Requirement for each grade level, and everybody says TEKS. As a homeschooler, I go to TEKS to find out what is supposed to be covered in that year. Fourth grade, which we are this year, is Texas history. So I have a regular public school Texas history curriculum. And we will be going through it. And we're also going to do U.S. history and see what's happening in the same time periods and make separate timelines. But we have been through American history twice with Toby already. So it's a repeat. That's why the last 2 years I did world history, starting with the Stone Age. Okay, so with the before I do, one's missing out of here. I don't know what's missing, but these are the Usborne history books I told you about, and it has ancient Greeks, castles, Celts, digging up history, Egyptians, Iron Age, Maya, Romans, Stone Age, Vikings. So what we did first was Stone Age. Then we did Iron Age. Then we did Egyptians, digging up history, which is about archaeology. Then we did Vikings, and then the Celts, and then we did ancient Greeks, then the Romans, and then this last year, when we were in the Dark Ages, we did the castles. And then in the Renaissance, we did the Mayas to see what, because you get to discovering the Americas in the Renaissance. And so the Mayas would fit in there because they were the people that Christopher Columbus ran into. So we did those. And they're small books. And I would say they're really good for first and second grade. And good pictures. We take 3 days to go all the way through. And at the back, they have vocabulary words. And what I would have them do, I would copy this page here. I'd have them take the pictures and glue them to a 3x5 card. And then I would have them write the main word, which is archaeology, ruins, metal detector, trowel, preserve remains. Have them write those words on 3x5 cards, and then have the definition cut off, and then put 3x5 cards, and we would play a game. where you would pull one color card, like maybe the green is all these the pictured ones has one of the pictures on it, and then have maybe the word and the um, definitions on the other color cards, maybe green, pink, and blue. And so they drew the card. If they saw the picture, they went looking for the word that matched it, and then they would go looking for the definition. Then we might mix it up after we played through one way, that way. Maybe we would pick up the word and have to match the picture and the definition. Or then we would try doing just the definition. And then I would test them, oral test them, after we've played it enough. Then I would say, what is an archaeologist? And they should be able to tell me. Uh, or I might say, what's a pointed tool archaeologists use for digging? And they should be able to say trowel by the time we've done all that. So that's the glossary is really good to play games with. Then at the back of these books, you see this? Most of the Usborne books that are teaching books have websites to visit. And you can go to usborne.com quick links and put in the name of the book you're reading, and it will give you a list of websites that they think are children friendly. And we love to do those. We can spend 2 or 3 days doing all the quick links with each book, because some of them are games, yeah, and some of them are teaching us more in-depth stuff, and some take you to museums and let you see this kind of stuff. Some are songs. You never know. I mean, you're going to get a bunch of stuff when you look it up. So usborne.com quick links. And the key word to put in on this one is beginners digging. So the back of the book will tell you where to find it. And the kids love it. The kids love those quick links. They never got tired. They never once said, do we have to look up another video? No. When you get there and you say, oh, we've got the quick links to look at. Yeah, yay. And we would do them upstairs on their bed because it's just more fun laying down and doing all the stuff on the computer. And we just have fun doing these. And it's homeschool for a reason, so you can have fun learning. You don't have to rush your way to another class, get to another classroom, or try to be sure you get all 8 of your subjects in. It's homeschool. If you spend one whole afternoon on history, who's going to care? You just skip it the next day and do all afternoon in science or afternoon in music, whatever you want to do, right? Okay, so this is real good to start overall history. Then let's say you're doing Texas history, you can, the Texas, I think it's Railroad Commission, but I'm not sure about that. It's whatever Bush was head of. They have a lot of Texas history stuff on there too, and activities you can go to. So it's a government site. Let me tell you that going to Five Below, Five Below, we have quite a few of them here in San Antonio, and everything's $5 or below $5. And they have a book section that's awesome. Great journals. If you're going to have your kids journaling, you can pick up all kinds of neat journals there. I got this there, and I used it with Toby when he was in first, and his brother Nicky was in fifth, and his brother AJ was in 8th grade. And we read through it as a curriculum almost. I mean, they each had their grade level U.S. history book, but we would start the day reading this book, which is everything you need to ace American history in one big fat book, one big fat notebook. And we really enjoyed it. And looks like this. Here's the Spanish Armada, pre-Revolutionary Wars, chapter 8. And at the end of each chapter are some questions, activities. This was a $5 book, probably $4.99. And it's done by Workman Publishing in New York. They have them in math. Can you read that? These are all the kinds they have. This same kind of book for these other subjects. So far, this is the only one I have gotten. There. Okay. Now, this one. I also got there at Five Below. I think I did. Yeah. It's all the presidents. Now, when we were doing American history, we were watching videos on the History Channel on each president, and there's 3 presidents per videos. And while we were doing that, we were also singing the song, Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, Adams. And then each president had a page in here. So we would read those too, and learn more about that president. We normally would read these before we watched the video because they're a lot shorter. It's just one page per president. So read the one on Washington while you're studying the history about what Washington was doing. You're going to have him a whole lot in the Revolution. And then read, then you go into your video on the History Channel. Okay, I'm trying to remember if I had to join the History Channel at that point, if that was one of the paid ones. Or I think it was. I think I joined the History Channel so I could get into some other stuff. I mean, there's the free ones on YouTube. But eventually, I think to get all the presidents, I had to join. I think it's $5 a month or something like that. I'm not a member of it anymore. You can stop it anytime you want to. So I did. But it's a pretty interesting book. Okay. And this may be the last history I'll show you today. I have science over here, and I may start over with science with the new video. History. Uncovered the USA. And this is a Kane Miller. Kane Miller sold by Usborne. It seems like I buy more Kane Miller than I buy Usborne, to be honest, to tell the truth. Usborne bought out Kane Miller at one point. Yeah, and so you always had to say that if it was Kane Miller or Usborne when you were trying to sell them at your parties. It's a party selling type of place, right? Okay, now, this is kind of cool. I told you that the Usborne stuff usually has cool things like lift a flat or shine a light. Well, this is a book as it grows. When you first start, you have A Country is Born, and 1770 to 1790, the Declaration of Independence, Jamestown's the first colony. Now look at the United States. These are your colonies over here. It's cut out. You can put your finger in there. And this wasn't part of the United States yet. What was this? Well, you have the Spanish Louisiana area. You have the Mississippi Territory. You have the Northwest Territory. You have Viceroyalty of New Spain. I did not know that, what that area was. And up here you have unclaimed territory. Okay, so this is all Wild West. You haven't gone west, young man, yet. You just got the 13 colonies you're concerned with. And stick with those. They're going to be important later. But now, when we're into the 1790s, the 1816, we've grown. We've added some other states. Looky, the Mississippi Territory is between all these states and Louisiana. And see, I don't know if you can tell, I can put my finger in there and I can touch these that were actually part of the United States. And as the book grows, the area you can touch inside grows till you get to the back and you've got the whole United States then. So that's the hook on this book, is that it grows as the states are added to the United States. So if you want to say, well, how big was the United States in 1907? Well, it looks like we pretty much had all of them by 1907. Well, what about 1906? Yeah, we were still missing this part here. Texas was a state already, though. When did Texas become a state? Let's see. We had the Texas Revolution somewhere in 1817 to 1837. And then when we flip the page, 1835 to 1859, Texas is now a state. Pretty cool. Kane Miller, Buy It Through Usborne. Okay, those are my extra books for history. Now I have a stack over here of extra books for science, and they're gonna take the whole video because they are lift a flap, shine a light, all the cool stuff. So we'll come back. Maybe even today. I don't know that I will get it on because it takes hours to put these videos onto the YouTube. But when I do it, it will be Let's Talk Science. Okay, this one today is Let's Talk Books, History, and Reading. Let's talk books. And I'll probably add reading and history in that order, since that's the order we talked about them. Okay, so let's talk book. The best way to find me on YouTube, the easiest, is Judy's, Judy's, Dendy, Dendy. Let's Talk Math, or Let's Talk Books, or Let's Talk. Now, when I first started, it was Nana, Judy's, Homeschooling, and Bible Thoughts. That's so long. And when you put that in, you're only going to get my first one. After that, they started getting pickier about showing me. Once you get one of them to come up now, though, there's a circle that says J on it, and it's orange. You can click that and get all the videos at once and choose the ones you want. And this will be video 8 today. Video 8. Okay? Well, I hope you've had a good Sunday. I haven't even eaten lunch yet, and it's 3 o'clock, so I think I'm going to get off and go get me some lunch. Have a great one. Bye-bye.